Have you ever used a teleconverter and felt like your images look different, even though your exposure settings seemed right? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what teleconverters do, the real pros and cons, and most importantly, how to use them correctly so you still come back with amazing images. Teleconverters are not bad tools. They're simply tools that come with trade-offs. And once you understand these trade-offs, you can decide when to use these teleconverters and when not, without guessing. Point number 1, the loss of light. The first thing that happens when you use a teleconverter is that you lose light. This is physical. A 1.4 teleconverter will cost you 1 stop of light. A 2x converter will cost you 2 stops of light. That loss of light affects your shutter speed, your ISO, and the performance of autofocus. In photography or wildlife photography, light is everything. Once you lose light, you must find a way to compensate for it elsewhere. Point number 2, depth of field or bokeh. If you use a 2x converter on a 2.8 lens, it automatically jumps to 5.6. So now you have lost light and you have lost the separation of your background. Your bokeh changes. Your background becomes busier. Your subject separation is not the same as when you were using f2.8. This matters a lot in fine art wildlife photography, where the background plays a huge role on how the image feels. The separation has gone and all of a sudden you're left with everything super sharp, or I should say super busy. In fine art, that doesn't work. Point 3, loss of image quality. Let's talk about this because we feel like, okay, great, we have a 1.4 or a 2x converter and you're getting closer to the subject, but what about the loss of quality and why it happens? These days, everybody says the technology is so good, it's amazing, it's this and that. Yes, it is. It's much better than the way it used to be. Is it exactly the same with and without using a teleconverter? No, but that may be totally acceptable for you guys. A teleconverter uses the center position of the lens and then magnifies it to fill the sensor. Think of it this way, it's like zooming into your image on your computer. As you zoom in, you lose sharpness, you lose contrast. Any softness becomes more obvious. Now here's the important part. If your lens is not extremely sharp or the glass is average, the teleconverter will exaggerate those weaknesses. So if the image is soft to begin with, the end result will be worse, not better. Teleconverters reward sharp lenses and punish weak ones. Okay, point number 4. Autofocus slowdown. Autofocus is another area that takes a hit. When you add a teleconverter, the lens communicates with the teleconverter. Then the teleconverter communicates with the camera. That means the signal is no longer direct. I mean, the electronic signal is what I'm talking about. The more communication points, the slower the response. So the autofocus becomes significantly slower, less reliable. If your subject is moving fast, like flying birds or running animals, this slowdown can result in soft images, even when your settings are right. Alright guys, now is the important part. Teleconverters are a very big part of a lot of photographers' workflow. So let's learn how to use them correctly so you can come back with images that are absolutely amazing. So let's see how to use a teleconverter properly. The first thing, while you're using a teleconverter, just absolutely know that you have to increase your shutter speed. So if you're shooting with a lens without a teleconverter, and you're using say 1250th of a second for your shutter speed, then when you attach a teleconverter to it, increase it to 1600. No matter what, you will need that. You will need the fast shutter speed in order for your image to look proper. Compensate for your exposure on it. Some way, somehow increase your shutter speed. That extra shutter speed helps to freeze the motion, to reduce softness. Mind you, I said reduce. Okay, I didn't say make it super sharp, but reduce softness, and to compensate for slow autofocus response. The other thing that you must do when you're using a teleconverter is to stay true to your brand. If you're using a Sony teleconverter, have a Sony lens. If you're using a Canon teleconverter, have a Canon lens. Nikon lens. That's the best combination. The camera and the lens manufacturers, they know their electronics better than a third party. Use them together. Don't go and use a teleconverter with another brand. Number one, I don't even think that it may work. I don't think so. I've never done it. And number two, you will have more loss of electronic information exchange, loss of imagery, sharpness, and so on and so forth. So try to stick to the same brand, and that will help. This is a really big one. If you're using a teleconverter, do not zoom in when you are processing your image in post. If you plan on cropping your image later, using a teleconverter can actually hurt your image. Why? Because you're effectively cropping 2 times. Once in the camera while using the teleconverter, and again on your computer while you're post-processing. Double cropping equates to double quality loss. If you're cropping later, it's better to take out the teleconverter out of the equation and just crop it in one time in post. This way you get the cleanest file possible. Okay, here's the big takeaway, okay? Teleconverters are not shortcuts. They are commitments. They work best when there's a lot of light, the lens are super sharp, the subject is predictable. What do I mean by that? The subject is not moving haywire crazy. And of course, if it's not moving that much, then it's perfect. Use the teleconverter at that point. Used correctly, the teleconverters are really good tools. Use blindly and they'll magnify every single mistake you have made. Here's my takeaway. You want to use teleconverters? Great, use them. But use them knowingly. Use them with intention. Use them knowing what your outcome is going to be. Use them correctly and you will come back with better results. Alright guys, I hope this has helped you guys. Go watch this playlist, learn more about shutter speeds, aperture, and so on and so forth. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.